Hello.
We're going to go ahead and start. My name is Carla Davis White. I'm one of Phil and Irene Davis, one of the 7 kids. Okay. We call this kind of town hall meeting to try to make the community aware of what's going on, make the community aware of what we've been dealing with, and trying to get to stop an apartment complex from being built next to our parents' home. Okay. So we just want to give you our take on what's happening, so the community can know what we've been battling, what we've been fighting with, trying to work with Prairie. First of all, I want to let you know that we asked and requested to be put on the agenda for the March 25th meeting today, so we can have this heard. We were notified on Friday of this week, for last Friday, that it was going to be rescheduled to April. After we had made travel plans, some of us had flown in town, made travel plans and everything, and then we were notified at that late point that, sorry, we're moving you out to April. We think that's another delay tactic, so we just really called this town hall meeting because we want the community to know what all we're going through. First, I want to introduce my brother, Bruce. Some of you already know him. Bruce Davis, grew up in Prairie as well, so let him tell you what he thinks about everything. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, I'll be short today. I'm Bruce Davis. I'm one of the sons of Hewlin and Irene Davis. I grew up here in Prairie, and I attended Waller High School. I now live in San Antonio, Texas, after finishing service in the Marine Corps. For the last 10 years, I have worked in a company that does housing community profiles for the Air Force. That's not all they do, but that's one of the things that they do. I have been a housing community profile leader. So we've helped the Air Force manage its multi-billion-dollar worldwide housing program. I am in Prairie View quite often. I voluntarily recruited students to Prairie View as a result of my recruiting activities for my other institution, and I have recruited students from Prairie View into the company that I work for. We have over 13,000 employees. And I've helped other companies become aware of what Prairie View has to offer. So just a quick story. About 9 years ago, I recruited 6 students from Prairie View, from the Prairie View School of Architecture, into our company. One of these students has significant involvement with the Prairie View City master planning effort. She gave a presentation at the community center. I drove in from San Antonio to hear that presentation. I was pleased with what I saw. That was 9 years ago. So I do have familiarity with what the direction that the city was taking at that time. Those of you who know me know that it takes a great deal to get me upset. Again, I will be short today. I'm here because my family and other families in the Prairie View community have been thrown under a bus. We've been thrown under a bus. As survivors of this bus accident, we have a few questions. Who was the driver? Was there a navigator? Why was there no horn honking or screeching of tires? And why was no aid rendered? The wheels of this bus were put into motion within milliseconds of the passing of our father, Professor Hewlin M. Davis, who opposed this rezoning, not just for himself, but as a voice for several others in the community. Why did we not see this bus? Why did we not see it? Because it was a spiritual bus. And this bus was made with a stealth that would have made a CIA or KGB agent jealous. An attack on the spirit warrants a response from the spirit. That is what is happening now. Several families have survived this attack and are fighting back with the spirit. This is an injustice, and it will not stand. It is also an abuse of power, and it will not stand. Will you join us? Keep Clark Street for families. Thank you. I'll be followed by my cousin Joyce.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Joyce Bryant, and for those of you that don't know me, I was born in Hempstead, Texas. My mother, Eleanor Jean Fry, she was the daughter of Francis Lynn Fry, engineer and also recognized on the Fry-Thomas power plant. I used to come here to Prairie every summer to visit my cousins, to visit my aunt, and I consider it my birthplace and my home. I grew up hearing the stories of Prairie. I grew up with my mother saying, "Get dressed, dress up, we are going to the college." I grew up with my grandfather telling us the stories and the history of the blacks that grew up here, that made something here, that made Prairie View great. I grew up hearing and seeing, you will become educated, you will do this, and it was all around me. That was the power and the beauty of Prairie View, and that's what I grew up hearing and seeing every summer. Today, I am back, and actually I was back February 25th to speak to the City Council. And I go back even further. January 31st, I received a letter. Your place is going to be rezoned. It's no longer going to be a neighborhood for families. It's going to house multi-resident dwellings. But I received that letter after the City Council meeting had occurred. And I thought to myself, what just happened? My neighborhood has been destroyed. The house that I built is changing, and I didn't even get to speak. Come to find out that they had sent out the letters so late to us that we didn't have the opportunity to speak. So I wrote letters along with my family and others in the neighborhood to the City Council requesting to be on the agenda. February 25th, I come down to speak, to plead for my house, to plead for my home, to plead for Prairie View. And we were not on that agenda. I had to give just community comments for 3 minutes, and I was told that we would be on the March 25th agenda. I changed business plans. I changed client appointments. I drove from my home here to Prairie View because I wanted to speak to the City Council. I wanted to be heard. Please protect my neighborhood. And on Friday, we were told, you're not on the agenda. We're not even going to hear you. We're going to postpone that to April, to the Easter spring break time. And so I am here saying that I want to speak for families. I want to speak for neighborhoods. We did a zoning map. I actually see it on the wall over there, laying out very clearly where do we put housing for families, where do we put housing for students and for multi-use purposes, where do we have our agriculture. And that was a reasoned zoning plan that was made, as I understand it, by all the citizens that were here at that time. And now I'm being told that we're just changing that we're just immediately going to just throw away a single family home, a neighborhood. And what have I heard? Well, change is in the air. Sorry. Why don't you move? Why don't I move? I pick up my house that I just built for Prairie and move. I am asking the city council, I'm asking the people here, I'm asking all of Prairie, let's continue to use the zoning map that was planned, that was analyzed, that was reviewed by the citizens of Prairie. I believe in neighborhoods for Prairie. I oppose the Clark Street zoning variance because I oppose destroying an entire neighborhood for the good of one. I oppose the zoning variance because there is enough land to support the needs of the university and the needs of families. I oppose the zoning variance because I fight for the rights of everyone that lives in a single-family neighborhood. I oppose the zoning variance because a growing city attracts top-notch educators to the university, and it won't attract anyone if there's no place for them to live. I oppose this zoning variance because destroying families destroys the tax base of Prairie. And I oppose the zoning variance because I am fighting for the rights of many. So I just ask you, my cousin passed out my remarks. I just ask you to take them home, think about them, listen, and think about where you live. Think about what is happening in your community. Because if they come to us and send us letters late and cancel when we can speak to the city council and be heard, you might be next. Thank you.
Hello. I am Carla Davis White, again, third child of Hewlett and Irene Davis. And I also oppose this variance rezoning. I want to give you guys a kind of a chronological order of everything that happened. Okay, so we're kind of understand. January the 9th, the letter was dated. Okay, it did not hit the post office mailbox till the 23rd. So they said, we asked about that. So kindergarten could ride a tricycle faster to get that mail from here to the post office. But they held that letter, didn't drop in the mail till the 23rd. We put the stamp the 23rd. We said, okay. Only because my sister held that envelope and was able to see that said the 23rd is the reason why we were able to even get them to say, you cheated us out of this. We want to be back on the plan for rezoning, okay? If we didn't see that envelope, the letter was dated January 9th. Looked like they gave us plenty of time, okay? Did not do that. Now, why do I think they did this intentional? Because my father, when he was alive, he told us the first time they tried to rezone it, they did the same thing. They sent the letter predated. They put the letter in the mailbox late, and then he almost missed the meeting. Only somebody was here, was kind enough to call him. He came up here to stand up and defend for himself. So as soon as he passed in October, they tried the same thing again with my mother, okay? So my sister came in, got the mail out, and then, so now that's January, okay? So then we start writing letters. My brother, the meeting's gonna be on the 28th. He says, I'm gonna be here. We get here, the 28th, the meeting was canceled because there was ice here. He said, okay, that means they got to reschedule this meeting. We should get another notice, okay? He was here at the house on the 31st Friday. We're calling around trying to find out when is this meeting gonna happen so we can get up here. Guess what? The meeting happened on the 31st. No notification to the family at all, okay? They get here, they approved it at planning and zoning, and they had it. Now we heard comments like at planning and zoning, some people made a comment of, hey, a gate ought to be enough, that's a plus. We heard that, there's no one here to defend them. There's no one here to defend anybody on the Clark Street. That's why we have to go ahead and approve this, okay? That's what we heard. While my brother is sitting, come from out of town, sitting at the house, no notification they can come here, okay? So we said, okay. We still wrote some more letters, and we said, that's not fair. We want to be on the agenda. So, you got to come to the next meeting, okay? Came to the next meeting, it's got to be back on the agenda. So here we are coming back in town again to get on the agenda for the February. He said, going to delay it to March. Okay, we said we have to get a second in motion to get on the March agenda, okay? So now, we get on the March agenda, March 27th. We're writing letters. We want to be speaking. We want to be active. Tell us. We said, oh, you have to sign up to speak. Or say, please sign me up. We did everything we could, okay? Then I'm like, okay, or you said you're going to give us a fair chance. You said you're going to start over again. Or are you going to let planning and zoning hit it again, let them re-vote on this, etc. What we were getting letters from the city council and the mayor, and I'll just say mayor, we were getting letters saying, I want you guys to meet with the developer, the SOWs, before the March meeting, okay? That is illegal, you guys. We can't meet with the developer outside of city council. That's what they want us to do. He said, we hope you guys can come to an agreement before the March meeting. We don't know what that means. You're trying to hope we come to an agreement about this? We're coming to the March meeting trying to get this settled in front of the city council. So we were denied that. So as it got closer, we stepped pressing saying, look, is the planning zoning meeting going there? Have notifications been sent out? We said, oh, he wouldn't answer. Nobody would answer. Then finally, I said, we want the recording from that meeting. Been asking for that from day one. Refused to give us a recording. We've been asking for the minutes to be posted to the website. That the minutes are always on the website. They refused to put the minutes on the website. We want to know who voted against this. Who voted yea and nay? The minutes were not posted on the website. We've been fighting for this. We have to actually go to the Texas Open Information Act in order for them to give us the recording and the minutes from the website. That's why you see the minutes now. Only because we had to force it, okay? Now this shouldn't happen in the city for people that live here, okay? But that's what we had to do, okay? After we did that, okay, then we got here Friday and said, hey, sorry you guys made plans, but we're going to reschedule you guys until April now, okay? After my brother just flew in from Boston for training. We have already made our plane trips. We have already traveled in town and everything. It says, okay, too late now, you guys. I said, I sent an email. We have already incurred travel costs. Certainly since the Planning and Zoning Commission folks live local residents, can you pull them to meet today at the normal time, 5 o'clock, so they can still, it's still an agenda? No response. We need to give them time. That's what we were told. We need to give them time. So he said, okay, let's just try to have a town hall. So we put the notification, Planning, Zoning Committee, etc. Had that posted, the post office and everything. What do we see? Another notice guy saying, oh, that public hearing has been canceled. Now, why we know it's a public hearing? The first letter my mother had said, and we're going to get you guys copies if anybody is interested. First letter said, Planning and Zoning and the City Council. Planning and Zoning 5 o'clock, City Council 5:30, 6 o'clock. The second meeting said, just public hearing. So we knew it was a trick, okay? We knew it was a trick. They were not going to treat us and give her a fair chance to do the whole thing. That's why we kept saying, we want you to give us a fair way, fair treatment. And do we have to now go outside the media? You know, we grew up here in Prairie. We don't want bad publicity coming to Prairie. You know, we have black city council, black mayor. We don't want to have to bring press in and everything to show, oh, look, these black people can't run the city council. But it's almost like we have no choice if you're not going to treat us fair, okay? So, I mean, that's the problem, and that's not right. Now, so then we called this meeting. We said, we're going to have a town meeting. Then what we see? We start seeing notices out saying cancellation, public hearing canceled, okay? Another effort to confuse the community, another effort to try to confuse them. All we asking is for a fair shake at this. You know, let's just be fair, let's treat it right. And and I'm just gonna say, you know, my father, I see some of these councilmen here, even some of the young guys, okay? You know, this man fought for students to get the right to vote. And some of you guys knew him. He even rode in his scooter all the way up there to Hempstead, you know, trying to get these guys to vote there. He fought for that, okay? And these same people are the people that, some of these same people are the same people that's like, hey, forget that. It's a new day and age, and we're going to put an apartment next to you, okay? We shouldn't do that to each other. R1 needs to stay R1, okay? If you want new faculty members to come here and live here and stay one, you can't have the young new faculty members drive around and see a big, huge apartment complex being built next to a house. Because you're sending a message to them. You're sending a message to them saying, hey, look, I'm not going to live here because they might do that to me. When it happened to Ron Lever, okay, y'all remember the apartment complex went over there, okay? The couple that lived, I think it was Kizzy, they lived across the street from there. When that happened, I was over there visiting. Why? Because my husband and I own a lot over there. Because one day I want to retire in Prairie, okay? We bought a lot, and what do we see? Apartment complex being built over there, okay? When I spoke to that gentleman, he told me, if I had known this, I moved here to retire, I would not have built this house here. Now, that left a message for me. That left a message for everybody. Even the ones who want to come back here are scared too. If the city council consistently allow an apartment complex to be built next to anybody R1, there is entirely too much land here. This is not TSU landlocked. This is not Spearman and Morehouse where there's no land around here, okay? There's plenty of land around here. There's plenty of land on the campus. There's plenty of land in the community. A great zone plaque was done. It said, hey, this is multi-purpose. This is R1. It was all the thing in section. Now we have the zoning commission that's not sticking to this. Some people are not sticking to this. So everybody here is in danger. First they start off, when it happened to the back road. Who was on the back road they did it to? There's an apartment complex back there, okay? And now the Tompkins are impacted by that. You know, students going up fast and all that kind of stuff. Then it happened over here, the kids in 11. Now they're talking about doing it on Clark Street. And there's like, oh, well, you know, it's starting to kind of go run down. Well, you know what? Instead of it coming back up and people build a new house, my cousin just built a new house there. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like it doesn't matter. If you build a new house or not, they're like, hey, this is the lot I own, so I want to build an apartment on it, okay? We have got to stop this somewhere. You can't allow people to come in here, buy a lot next to you, and then, you know, sneak a rehearing, hope you missed your notice, hope, you know, you don't check your mailbox, hope, you know, every day, hope that you know, change the date and time. But we figured, you know, it's best just come in here, lay it out, let you guys know what happened, okay? Because once I asked for recording, and we got to hear the recording that happened at that meeting, and got to hear the tone that people used, and they were saying, you were swore we were not even in the same community, okay? It was almost like, change got to come. Someone's got to make the hard decisions. We heard comments like, you know, gotta happen. No, nobody really lives over there. No, we heard, Microsoft said nobody really lives in those houses. It's really nobody there. Now these people know people live there, okay? And said, hey, change gotta come. You know, they said there's a lot of nice land right there by where the mayor lives, okay? Folks just gotta move over there, okay? And so it can't be the only two communities in Prairie we're going to live in is by the mayor about where it's south, the developer who's south. I mean, we have got to, you know, keep R1, okay? So people can buy land, want to build new houses. Faculty members want to live back in this community again, so it can be vibrant and grow again, okay? But if we sit back and just let anybody build an apartment complex next to that, this was stopped in 2006. 2006 is when the zoning plan came out. Because when they saw it happen, they said, we got to take care of this and make sure we don't have this turn into a dump, okay? But so, we're trying our best to make that happen. I'm sorry I may have been a little too long-winded. It should have been like my brother, just saying, I'm going to talk short. Okay, I'll be short. Sometimes I can get a little long-winded, okay? But I apologize for that, okay? But I tried to squeeze in everything I could so you guys can know what happened. So at 6 o'clock meeting, we were told we can only speak 3 minutes, right? We were told the mayor's going to decide you guys can only speak 3 minutes. But the tape I heard, they were speaking for 20 and 30 minutes on this subject matter and taking as much time they wanted to sell this development to the city council. But we were told that when you guys do come, we put you on a minute, we're only going to allow you guys 3 minutes, okay? So we think a lot of things that happened were not fair, okay? So we called a public hearing. So we can, you know, we were going to just be passively at the planning and zoning committee and just, you know, hear that go. But when that got canceled, we're like, this is just, it's just hitting us off. So now we're just hoping that when April comes, There's not gonna be any other shenanigans, okay? And we're just gonna be treated right, okay? That's all I have to say. Thank you so much for listening to me. And just be pleased, we just pray you have your support. We need to stand strong in the community. We need to look out for our elderly, our senior citizens who have paid the dues, work university for low income, you know. Some of these people now are making no higher incomes on the university. They don't understand that I know my father and mother didn't make the money at the time. You know how they go. So, you know, they sacrifice. They have what they have now. Let's look out for them, and let's not just roll over the people living in the community now. Thank you very much. I hope you guys support.
That's right.
Well, I want to thank the Davises. I'm Marie Herndon. I'm on the city council. The Davises have traveled here on at least 3 different occasions, and they just wanted to be heard. I really want to thank those of you who took the time out to come out and hear them, because like Carla said, or was it Joyce, it's happening to them now. You might be next. So if there's going to be only a 3-minute limit on them, my suggestion, fill out the speaker's card. Everybody in here who's going to stay for the council meeting, fill out a card to request to speak. And when it's your time, yield to the Davises. So do you have any questions from the Davises?
Yes.
Actually, my question is for you, Ms. Herndon. The Open Meetings Act requires notice at one meeting to be put on at the next. And I know for the last couple of years at the City Council, that's what you guys have done. So the fact that they were represented at the January 31 meeting, which I sat in on, and I must admit the discussion is much worse than what Ms. Davis stated. It got so bad, I did a point of order. And it's on the tape. That's how bad it was. I had no dog in this fight, but after 35, 40 minutes, I couldn't take it anymore. And I wasn't even involved, okay? Because you don't carry motions like that. I've been a parliamentarian for years. But because it was noticed January 31, and again in February, tell me what's prohibiting the agenda from adding it today. They've had 60 days notice. Open meetings law only requires 30. So why can't we have that? They're here. They're traveling from as far as Florida. This is ridiculous.
Well, before the meeting, the actual meeting starts, and an agenda may be amended.
That's a parliamentary procedure. Agendas are supposed to be approved prior to the meeting for that very purpose, in case somebody left something off. And the other thing in that act says that the president or whoever's in charge does not make the agenda. It's a community agenda. It doesn't matter who you are. The agenda is, you know, again, it's following the process. And for those of you who don't know, yes, I am running for mayor. And after sitting in that, I thought it was the grass that needs cutting, and, you know, houses whose taxes weren't being paid need to be, you know, researched on and collected. But after sitting through that January 31 meeting, there was no doubt in my mind. A couple weeks later, I registered to run for mayor, because it's not just out there that needs cleaning up. But I would ask that, because you are on the council, and once it starts, you're supposed to be able to speak, and we're not, that we just look to the law, not what any of us wants, not even the Davises, but they've done their part. And if we don't fix it before it gets crazy, I know some would say it's already crazy, but you know, this is just a rule by the state of Texas. If we're not following it here, we just need to know.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? And our regularly scheduled city council meeting starts at 6. I'm hoping everybody here will stay for it. And I hope you will give some serious thought to what you've heard today. As a matter of fact, we have a member here from Planning and Zoning, Dorothy Carter.
Yes.
Did you get any notification or not notification that there might be a meeting today?
We don't have a meeting, planning and zoning did never have.
You never got notified?
We know we never had one scheduled.
Then there was never a meeting scheduled for?
No, not
We were
planning and
told that
zoning.
we were gonna be on the agenda, and you guys never got notification of it.
We, the committee chairperson, I talked to him, he said we weren't having a meeting today, we didn't have anything on the agenda.
So we were just misled.
Yes.
Misled, came all the way in town for that. Yeah.
All right,
That's just ridiculous.
thank you. Thank you, Ms. Carter.
No, ma'am, we weren't planning. Answer your question. We weren't having a meeting.
May I say something?
Yes.
Good evening. Good evening to everyone. My name is Jerron Barnett. I live here in Prairie. Been here in Prairie for several years. I married Paulette Matthews, in which she changed her name to Barnett, and she kept it Matthews, so it's Paulette Matthews Barnett. You know, I'm also county commissioner for this precinct 3. And I think what we need to ask ourselves is, what are we here for? And when I say that, it's because it's gatherings like this, people coming together because of a cause that gets things done. And it's gatherings like this that everyone who wants to see something done, we're going to have to continue to be on the front line in order to ensure that these things get done. And there is a responsibility. You know, as county commissioner, when things go awry in the precinct, ultimately I'm the first one responsible, because I raised my hand and take the oath to be the one to do that. You know, so I am the one responsible. There is a responsibility factor here, okay? And I think we all need to sit back and assess and understand that there's a responsibility factor here. Meetings, last minute cancellations, things of that nature should not be, are not warranted. As a matter of fact, pretty much illegal. So I think that when you're fighting a battle, folks, you got to be geared up. You got to have the right armor on. You got to be ready to go through the fight. You know, and all of us who are, well, everybody here is a part of Prairie View. Okay, this is our home. If you're like me, I believe in being a strong gatekeeper. I pray for you today, but if you get on my bad side, I'll pull a Peter on you tomorrow. And I will not put your ear back on once I chop it off. Okay? And that's the attitude, the aggressiveness, and the forwardness that we're going to have in order to get things done. We're in a great position right now. I have not seen our city this active like we are right now in many, many, many years. We're in a great position right now for you all to put one word on your mind, and that word is change. Okay? We all want it. We all need it. We all desire of it. So whatever that change is for you, that's what you do. Whatever it is. Whether it's through your vote, whether it's through you raising a picket sign to get it, or whether it's through you moving from one part of Prairie View, don't move out, to another part of Prairie View, you're still in. We're in an excellent position for change. So I ask each and every last one of you that when it comes to that, you do what your heart tell you. Amen. Make a change. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Barnett.
Commissioner Barnett, I had a question for you.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
You remember I raised my hand? I want to know who said there was going to be a planning and zoning meeting. Who scheduled it?
It was requested by the Davis family.
It was requested by us.
No one scheduled it.
It was requested by us because that's the normal process. You're supposed to have a planning zoning meeting in order for you to hear rezoning at the meeting.
May I ask what was this about?
The Clark edition.
The Clark
Clark,
variance.
the Clark variance,
Clark
okay.
Street.
We asked for a
Variance.
rezoning meeting on that since he put it on he told us he put it on the March agenda to be heard at city council. So he said, is the planning zoning gonna meet for that?
Originally, the Davis family was not given proper notification. And when it was first heard, that's why nobody was here to oppose it. They were not given proper notification. They've been going through several changes with dates, and they're really kind of frustrated. They've done a lot of traveling to get here today, and they just wanted to have the opportunity to just share what's happened to them, so that hopefully it won't happen to others, and even not, they just wanted to be heard. And they're having a difficult time with
It
that.
wasn't just Davis that were not given the proper notification.
None of the
I mean,
people
it
were.
was Davis, Fonto, Bryant,
Santee.
Moore,
Santee.
Santee, Armstrong.
There were homeowners in that area.
Yeah, and we were hearing different things. We heard the Santees were supposed to be for this, and when I called and spoke to Mrs. Santee myself, she said no, she doesn't want to have an apartment complex by her, okay? And then we heard that the Santees were for this. We heard the Mosley was for this as well. I read Lamont Mosley's article in the paper. It doesn't look like he was for it either, okay? So, I mean, and it depends on which Santee you talk to. They said they had some
Yeah,
Santees.
that's what I wanna know. Which
Because
one?
Mrs. Santee.
The one over there by the cement place?
Yeah, if you knock on her door and speak to her, I guarantee she'll tell you she does
that's
not want
right.
an apartment complex by her. And think about it, who would? Let's be reasonable with it. Who would want an apartment complex by? That doesn't even take common sense to even think about. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying?
I can't say nothing because they put the service
You know.
across from my house, so
You know,
I can't say nothing.
you know.
But see, it has to do with zoning too, because when the zoning map was planned, that was R1, where Ms. Carter lives is commercial.
Oh, but she lives commercial, okay.
And
Yeah, but the difference is, it's R1, it's an R1 neighborhood, okay, and it's an R1, you would think that single-family duplex, et cetera, is built in R1, okay? And then when you're R1, that's what you think or expect is gonna be built by you, by any land. You don't think the city's gonna pull a sneak meeting, rezone it, and move an apartment right next to you, and that's just a fact. You have a question?
I just want to make a comment,
Okay.
because I can't stay very long. But as a developer in the city of Prairie, primarily multifamily, at one time and now residential, change is gonna come. And developers, when they look at land, a developer, when he looks at land, he sees progress. And the problem that I am having with this, in order for Prairie View to grow, we need rooftops. And that is single-family rooftops, not multi-family rooftops. Now, I'm okay for them building apartments. I don't have a problem with that. You don't destroy a zoning of residential
Thank you.
to build apartments.
Thank
right.
you.
You know,
Exactly.
and I built apartments in Prairie View. I built apartments in areas that were zoned for multifamily. I built single-family homes in Prairie View. I built it in an area that was zoned for residential. I don't believe in defying the zoning unless it's acres, and I mean tons of acres, and there's nobody near, and you come up with a planned development so everybody wins in it. If you have 40 acres or 50 acres and you want to put apartments on it, balance it with residential. So everybody wins in a planned development. But I drove by there and I looked at that land, and this is what I see from a developer's point of view. I see clutter. There is no way, it's less than an acre. At one time, that land was available for, it was on sale, and you could get 14 residential lots on that land. So, if he wants to do rentals, I don't have a problem even with him putting up 14 single-family homes. Because there are a lot of people, the Section 8 office has over 200 people in line for a home. So he can build homes for rent if he wants to do rentals. You can get 14 on that land very easily. But I can't see with parking, how he's gonna get an apartment complex on there based on what and I haven't seen his plans or anything, based on what I've heard. I see clutter. You know, I see cars parked all along the street, cars parked down in front of Miss Santee's house. You know, I just don't think there's enough parking for it. But he's a developer. You know, and when he looks at land, he sees progress, that kind of progress. Do that in areas where the land is zoned for it. Because what are you gonna do? Prairie View has a lot of, the campus is gonna grow, and then they have a lot of commercial coming up along Owens Road that the university is putting up. There's a lot of other areas where you can put apartments in Prairie View. And that is my opinion. I don't think anybody needs to vote to give anybody the right to take prime residential land and turn it into a multifamily situation, especially land that's small. It's just too small for it.
Exactly.
I just want to share
Exactly.
another quick story. Oh, okay.
What is your name?
I'm Deborah Dennis.
She has the apartments over there.
I know.
I
Yeah.
have one thing to
She
say.
has apartments over
Okay,
there.
Miss Dennis is talking, but what happened in Alta Vista is what she is talking that you all, you know.
Oh, really?
She put dormitories in Alta Vista that we were, deed restrictions said they were not supposed. She said she was gonna live in one of her houses, and her daughter was gonna live in the other, which is a lie. But if you drive through Alta Vista, no, I'm through with that now. This is what happened. If you drive through Alta Vista, you will see 2 dormitories for students in Alta Vista. Okay?
Is it a house?
And she lied and said, I was sitting right here when she had a diagram on this wall.
Yes.
She lied and said there's gonna be 2 houses there, but she didn't do it. Okay?
It is 2
So
houses.
it's 2 dormitories because there are students who live in there. It's like dormitories.
Miss Carter?
Miss
I don't even
Dennis.
rent those anymore to students. When is the last time you saw students?
Well, because it's for rent signs up there,
And it's
because the
for rent
students are
signs.
not living in there.
I've had many
Okay.
students who call for that.
Okay,
And let me tell you something else while we're on this subject. That happened long time ago. Long time ago.
It didn't happen that long ago.
If that happened in
But-
2004.
But do you see
and
this
That's not
dialogue?
too long.
And if they want to still hold me accountable
Everybody
for building
says
2 of the
Because
best
you
looking
are,
houses.
no, they're not the best.
Okay,
Live
now,
there.
we don't want to get into argument here, we want to really.
But I wanted to know that.
Let's give my opinion.
Okay.
And if they still want to hold me accountable for that, I
Okay.
don't rent to
I think we have
students anymore.
somebody back here wants to speak. Let's let her
Yes,
let Ms. Kizzy get a chance to speak. She wants to speak.
I'm not gonna argue with
What I
her.
want to say is, I'm sorry to see, Gwen, that you're very upset about
No,
this.
I'm sorry to say that you.
I am
Okay,
very
let's-
upset.
let's one
I have
person
been-
at a time.
I have been
One person.
upset ever since she told a
Can
lie.
I finish?
Yes.
When the apartments were going up to me, up next to me, I didn't see you at a meeting being upset at all. There's 16 units next to me. And my husband told you at that time, he's dead and gone. It'll be coming next to you next. It's there now. And I'm not saying that I am happy about it, but if you let it start one place, it's gonna go to the next
And I
place.
think that's the same.
And
word.
there
That's what
are
we're
no
saying,
deed
that's what you're
restrictions.
trying to stop.
And that's what we're trying to
Can I
stop.
finish? There's
Go
no
ahead.
deed restrictions in effect in Prairie View at this time. None of them
That's
are in
correct.
effect.
That's right.
Because we
And
have-
furthermore, I built
Yeah.
I built single-family homes. I did not defy the zoning. And when I came into Austin Vista, there are a lot of people renting in
Alta
Austin
Vista
Vista.
has deed restrictions.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Okay, oh no, they do. They do have deed
We're not
restrictions.
going
And they
to-
at the courthouse.
But
We're
you
not
have-
gonna debate the deed restrictions, but they are being, they really are being.
Now, wait a minute. And if Alta Vista had deed restrictions, you know, people were renting in Alta Vista before I got there. But the fact of the matter is, what I built in Alta Vista was single-family homes. I didn't build an apartment complex.
Those are not single
And that's
family
one of the
homes.
things that we wanna
They
do,
are single
hopefully.
family.
No, they're not.
Just
First of all, we wanna thank everybody.
But they
We
keep
don't
it
have
up.
time for the, city council meeting, so I invite all of you to stay for city council.
It's not time, it's
Now,
not
we wanna thank everybody for at least hearing us out on everything that we have gone through as a family, on Clark addiction. And, we're just hoping to try to get everything resolved. And, we wanna, just need everybody's support on this. And, so we don't have to spend tons of travel costs again to try to get this done. We're just hoping and praying that we as a community can work this out. We need to look out for single family residents.
But
We
did
don't
you-
need apartment complex right next to single family residents. So we need to make sure we keep the zoning plan intact, okay? And we need to also know that this is a university town. It's gonna grow, it's gonna have change, but it doesn't have to be on the backs of people who live in single family homes, okay?
Did
To keep
you,
those neighborhoods intact.
Did you not hear them say that they were going to put fences around over there?
Yep, we've
Oh,
heard.
Yeah, we heard that, but
Yes.
I wanna make sure we address that because I think you're concerned about the fence. But I'm telling you, a fence is not gonna keep out noise, it's not gonna keep out trash, and it's not gonna keep out the plan that I saw where my mother's bedroom is and where she's gonna be able to actually hear noise in the in the parking lot in her house and traffic. That fence is not gonna do that, okay? So, that's answering your question on that. A fence is not gonna take care of that. Okay, but you're right, there's a fence. And if it's a fence is enough for most people, fine, but a fence is not gonna do the job for that.
My problem is here, everybody said what someone told them. They need to get facts. They talking about, everybody just about spoke, say, well, I heard, somebody told me this and somebody told me that. Get the facts before you repeat it, that would be
Okay,
better.
well, and make sure you understand. I received a recording from the city. I heard the recording from that meeting with my own ears, so I'm telling you what I heard
No, I'm
myself.
not talking about just you.
Okay,
And I heard.
and I heard recording too, so it was facts that we heard. Someone's on the recording say a fence is a plus and a fence should be enough. We heard that.
Sometimes I feel like nobody wants, I mean, I am in a position right now, I feel like nobody wants anything, not just you. Someone has been going down our property, telling people that's working down there, what's down there. They are against us growing. Be aware of the devils. Yeah.
Oh, well,
All right.
we
Well,
appreciate
thank
that
you
comment.
for-
Okay.
Thank you for your
everybody
comments.
But again, I
coming.
hope everyone here will stay for city council meeting.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Steve, you may have-